Today I'm going to read a story for you so that you can check your pronunciations and compare them with what are wrong and right. Story number 11, Akbar and Birbal. Akbar was a great emperor who admired musicians, poets and the learned persons. People came from all over the world to Akbar's court. Akbar respected them all. He respected 9 men most. They were known as Navratna. Of this 9, Birbal was Akbar's most favorite. Would you like to know how Birbal entered Akbar's court? Birbal lived far away from Delhi. When he heard of Akbar and his courtiers, he decided to go to Delhi. After a long journey, he reached Delhi. As soon as he reached the palace gates, he was stopped by the guards. Guard says, "Where are you going?" Birbal says, "I am coming from a long way to see the king." It was of no use. The guard wanted Birbal to give him a large sum of money. But Birbal had no money. Being a humorous person, he thought of an idea and replied quickly. Birbal says, "If the king is pleased with me, I will give you half of what I received from him." Guard says, "Okay, I agree with you. That only on this condition I will allow you to go inside." Birbal entered Akbar's court. Birbal was very charming in speech and polite in conduct. The king was greatly impressed and at once admitted him as a regular member of the court. Soon he became king's favorite due to his excellent qualities. One day, Akbar was so pleased with Birbal that he offered him prize. Akbar says, "I am pleased with you. I will give you anything you ask for. What do you want?" Birbal says, "Your Majesty, if you are really happy with me, ask your men to beat me 100 times with a lash." The courtiers were shocked. The king was astonished and he asked surprisingly. Akbar says, "What? Do you really want to be whipped with a lash?" Birbal says, "Yes, your Majesty. I know it is a very unusual request, but I would really like to be beaten up with a lash 100 times. Akbar realized that Birbal was determined. So he gave the order for beating. When Birbal had been beaten 50 times, he shouted to stop. Akbar says, "Have you changed your mind?" Birbal says, "No, your Majesty. I remember some promise." Akbar says, "What is that?" Birbal says, "I gave a promise to one of the guard at gate while entering your palace. I promised him that I will share half the prize. He agreed to let me get in only on this commitment. May I have the permission to bring him in?" Akbar says, "Yes, you are allowed to bring that person in the court." Birbal says, "Sir, this is the guard who wanted half the prize. I promised him to give half of what I will receive from you, so I want to fulfill that promise." Akbar says, "What did he ask?" Birbal says, "Your Majesty, he told me that it was the custom here for strangers to give him some gold or silver coins for meeting you or entering the court." Akbar says, "Let him have half the prize. Beat him so badly that he learns a lesson." The guard felt much ashamed and received the 50 lashes without a murmur. After this incident, he made a new beginning and became an honest man. Now, the moral of the story is, honesty is the best policy, or one must always be honest.